Here we are, all 3 Omega Metroids defeated. Last of the Chozo devices. I mean, that went pretty smoothly, if I have to say so myself. Gonna pat myself on the back for that one. I mean, freaking Digger taken down in 1 hit, in 1 try, and then all the Omega Metroids not giving me a super huge problem. I mean, pretty good if I do say so myself. And the Metroid count is at 1! Yay, congratulations. We can guess which one that's gonna be. And probably not very economical to take these guys down for enemies. The regular enemies in Samus Returns are just ridiculous. Yeah, we're just gonna screw attack through this. Screw you guys! I suppose I'll keep out the grapple beam in case I really need it again. Yeah, we're gonna see a ton of stuff right here that I could theoretically do, but I'm not gonna do. There's no reason to actually do it. Uh-oh. I think actually, yeah, we have to take care of these guys though. Definitely take care of you. You're super annoying, so missile block. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. And oh, there we go. I don't know. This is just like, why would you put this in a game that's supposed to be speedrun? All these freaking annoying grapple blocks that you have to take care of. Just let me go straight through, man. I don't want to deal with it. Dread does make this far better in that regard, I have to say. And playing this game has given me, like, a brand new appreciation for Dread. Well, not really a brand new one, like, I already super appreciated Dread. But I can really respect kind of the roots of Dread, how everything kind of started with its concepts and how it ultimately was very, very much improved and expounded upon and things like that, so... I mean, I'm not going to call Samus Returns a bad game whatsoever. I think this game's freaking awesome, honestly. But there are definitely a few flaws right here, and, you know, we've seen them. They're few and far in between, if I'm being honest with myself, but I mean, they're still definitely kind of prevalent, definitely kind of there, so... Okay, can you please not do that? Why are you going to do that with freaking pitfall blocks? That's the worst, man! Get me out of here. Time to get to the last area of the game. Here we go, nice elevator. Here we go, everyone. I really like this one because, again, there are shades of the original Metroid here. This is not a built-from-the-ground remake. Area 8. The source of it all. The main habitat for the Metroid Horde. And I'm just gonna go ahead and try to zoom through all this. I mean, yeah, we probably need the blade beam for some stuff. I'm gonna keep it out. Yeah, like those things right there that are gonna blow up and do an energy tank worth of damage if they're like the bright red ones. But as for everything else, no, we're just gonna zoom through. No reason to deal with anything. And I think we need to keep going up, pretty much. There's only one Metroid left. We know which one that is, we know who it is, we know what we have to do to take her down. Yes, with a she. Oh, save point. Haven't had a save point yet this entire time, so probably pretty good to grab that. Yeah, we'll grab that right quick before we go any further. It's not gonna be the save point, I think, but I can definitely use it at this point. Lightning quick save, gotta appreciate it. Yeah, this is just gonna be a game of getting up and finding where the main nest is. Here we are, yeah. This is where the Metroids have made their home. This is where it all starts. God, everything's so icky and gross around here. Oh yeah, this is gonna be the last stop right here. I want to get the power-ups, but I don't need to get all the power-ups. Well, I'm not gonna get all the power-ups, but I do need to get some, and an energy tank is chief among those. Thank you. Last energy tank of the game, I believe, so... Okay, now I think... Yeah, pitfall right there. You knew that was coming, you weren't gonna fool me, game. Freaking game. Get all this. That'll be the last one. I mean, there are probably more energy tanks I could get, but I mean, we got like a pretty convincing amount of them right there, I have to say. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not what I needed. I needed the beam boost. Oh, this is not where I even want to be. To be up. Get your act together, man. We're on a timer right here. Yeah, there we go. When in doubt, just screw attack up and we'll find the main nest of the Horde eventually. See, refill right there. That's absolutely no help to me whatsoever. There are a lot of things you can do in this area to make backtracking through it very easy. But of course, backtracking is kind of the last thing that I want to be worrying about right here, so we're just going to take the straightforward path right here. And I say right here a lot, which is something I try to remedy in my videos. Whenever I watch them back, I'm like, man, why do you say this so much? Go ahead and settle down. Get in the swing of things. Just freaking go. Don't worry about it. At least they give us the swarm enemies right here to worry about this. So I don't have to worry about it, rather. Well, I love the atmosphere right here. The music is also, like, really creepy. It's not as kind of, like, head bopping as the last area was, for sure. But it really gives you kind of the vibe, along with this fluid right here. I don't even know what to call this. Like, yeah, this is it, man. Like, this is where all the nasties are. This is where the stuff I don't want to deal with is. Okay, yeah, and this is what I was talking about when I said these are areas that are reminiscent of the actual original game here. Yeah, I was about to say there better be something. Uh-oh! Because there was this kind of maze-like structure in the original game, too. Oh, okay. Guess that's a no-go. Maze-like structure, but it's also where, like, I believe the last, energy and missile recharge of the game was, and also where you could find the ice beam, because remember in the original, that the ice beam did not actually stack with the other beams that you had, or it wasn't something you could keep along with the other beams that you had. So if you got, you know, to the last stages of this game where you actually need the ice beam, in the original, like, you need the ice beam right here, you kind of need the ice beam here too, and you didn't have the ice beam, well, you were kind of screwed, honestly. So, in the original, this is where you can find the last ice beam too, it's kind of this general area in the game. So we just need to keep going up, through this weird maze-like structure. I don't know why this is here, I don't know why this exists. Chozo, it would be really nice to meet one of you someday so we could talk about a lot of esoteric and asinine design philosophies that you guys had on some of your planets, because I swear to God, going through Zebes, Talon 4, and now SR388, what were you guys thinking? I have several ideas to make this less hazardous. Okay, but no, I'm just ranting. There's really no reason to do that. Oh man, we're getting close now. Maybe that's the safe station. Is that? No, we got one more. But there it is. Remember that in the original. And there's the Metroid Tingle Sense. Just one more to go. Let's go ahead and do it. Oh, sweet. But of course, it's never that easy. Never ever that easy. So currently 11 down. There it is, OG Metroid. These guys are a bit more difficult to take down in this one than you might think, because you have to have a fully charged ice beam in order to freeze them for any extended amount of time. In the past, if you just hit them with like a single ice beam hit, they would just kind of stay frozen, then you pump them full of 5 missiles, kind of the traditional way that you always take down a Metroid, a larval Metroid, an OG Metroid, in these games. And this one, if you just hit it with a single ice beam shot, they're not going to stay frozen long enough for you to get the 5 missile hits in. So you kind of have to be a bit more creative if you're going to do it that way. So keep an ice beam charge, because these things, you know, they're still very, very dangerous. Kind of weird to be taking down OG Metroids after so many evolutions, though. So always keep a charge, and then, you know, just go ahead and pump them full of missiles as soon as they get close to you. And I like how they make the same noise, the king noise, that we've heard since the beginning of the game, fighting the alphas and all that really good stuff. So, yeah, get an inch along right here. It is, don't miss. So I think also, just like in Super Metroid and previous games, one super missile hit will also work if you feel so inclined. But 5 missiles isn't really that much, so I'm not really going to worry about it here. This is it. This is the last recharge station. And I'm already full of everything, so, okay. We're just not going to worry about that, now are we? Okay, come here. Boy, these guys look so kind of like, I don't know, like gelatiny, I suppose? Not really bubbly, I suppose, but just kind of seeing them in a 3D, 2D, I think it's 2.5D space is just kind of weird. Okay, so I think, oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, one of them had to catch me, right? Let go. Okay, I'm gonna try to get away from this guy. And then we're gonna run away, so when he tries to get me, I still have a fully charged shot. I definitely want to get that energy back up, and just one more regular larval Metroid to go. And it's always nice that they had the OG Metroids at the very end, even if they're easy to take down. But that's why you needed the Ice Beam in the original Metroid too. You cannot beat the Lava Metroids without the Ice Beam. It sounds like someone isn't very happy right now. Okay, yeah, this is it. It's the save station. One more, right above the nest. The larval Metroids have to come from somewhere. The egg has to freaking come from somewhere. Here we go, everyone. One of my favorite moments in the series. I remember standing right here in the original Metroid 2, just right at this precipice, but here we go. There she is. I hope I can do this. All those smashed eggs in the background. Well, not smashed, I guess they're hatched, which is the ones we just fought. The Queen Metroid. The source of all Metroids. Okay, so this one's gonna be pretty freaking difficult right here. It is kind of similar to the way the original was fought, except the Queen moves a whole lot more. I believe she was indeed static in the OG fight. And I think three super missiles are probably enough to take down the first form up here. See, this is actually kind of unlike... Oh, that's nice. Sweet. Do this in the beginning. It's unlike Diggernaut in the way that it's not super... Well, I guess it is kind of essentially, but I don't really know what I'm trying to say right here, but okay. Oh god, I should be hurting it right here. God. I was waiting for the counter. What's the counter in this one, you might ask? Take that down, get on our lightning armor, go ahead and roll in just like the original, and now we got the super power bombs. So yeah, in order to do the best trick in from like the OG Metroid 2, and that one you didn't really have to like counter or do something special or like anything like that necessarily in order to get inside the Queen's stomach. Oh crap, I need Spider Ball. That's the only way to evade this one. You didn't need to do anything special, but for this one you have to get done with the form. Oh god, what is this again? The balls that we have to dodge. Okay. Oh god, that's the one at the bottom too. Okay, yeah. So, okay, yeah, now I remember. These little balls kind of, they disperse in a predictable pattern. So whenever this happens... Oh, he was not ready for that. You can kind of just, get in the portion, in the spot where you need to be. Okay. In order to dodge, is what I'm trying to say here. Oh yeah, when she does that, she tries to back you up into that lava on the back. I don't know what to call it, the fire breath that we've seen some of the other Metroids actually have. This again, huh? Doing this again already? Seriously? Okay. So yeah, that's the best way, is to, like, spider ball it to the ceiling to avoid that fire breath. And that one, the green ball that's just below us will always be just far down enough that we can get some hits in. And now do this some more. Okay, there we go, sweet. Keep doing some damage right here. In the original, I think it took like 150 missiles to take this gal down. I love how it automatically switches to the ice beam right here, so you don't really have to worry. Not the ice beam, the grapple beam rather. So you don't really have to worry about it. Also nice how we can use the lightning armor to not deal in damage inside her stomach. That was an inevitability in the original. If you were going to get in the Queen's stomach and try to damage her that way with bombs in the mouth, you had to take damage. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I guess this is where it kind of is going to help to have so many freaking regular missiles. I could switch to super missiles right here, but that would entail like using the touchscreen or my mouse, which is just a luxury I don't really have here. Oh, I do love the music here, by the way, as well. It's pretty fantastic. Okay. Oh, she's gonna go below now. Right. I don't really remember this one too well. Gives me an opening here, though. Now, I have a lot of health right here, too, so... Alright, I think this will be the last counter of the game, actually. So this has gone very surprisingly smooth. And I've gotten all my counters, which is also kind of surprising, honestly. But, boy, Queen is so strong it can take 3 power bombs on the chest. That's kind of insane. And that's gonna be it, I think. Ooh. Wow, that was really smooth, all things considered. Kinda wasn't prepared for that. I was ready for a bit more resistance, actually. There we go. The last Metroid is defeated. The Queen is dead. No more Metroids in the universe. Except, of course, one special little one. There we go, that is the critical, most defining moment of the series, if you ask me. Oh, and look, yeah, Baby Metroid food is finally not an issue. Little guy's gonna help us get out of here. But yeah, I mean, it's the most important event that happened, like, in the entirety of the Metroid timeline, you know? Like, there's really not one that you can point to that is more critical, in my opinion. I remember when I played the original Metroid 2, I kind of took that and I said, I think that's the first little piece of character, I don't really want to say development, but like little character that we ever saw from Samus, really, because, I mean, of course, it was just an NES game and a Game Boy game up to that point. But the fact that even though there were no cutscenes, there were no dialogue or anything like that in the original Metroid 2, the fact that Samus didn't kill it and that it wasn't an option to kill it, you know, very indicative of who Samus is as a person, you know, a much softer side sometimes, you know, a side that is not this cold, ruthless, calculating bounty hunter. It's just a badass in a big suit, you know, like there's a little bit more to it than that. And I think that was actually somewhat conveyed in the original Metroid 2, and they do a great job of expounding upon it here in Samus Returns. I really like the nice little callback to the Prime series as well. We actually get a view of inside Samus's visor. Also happened a few times in Other M. But I remember just pointing that out, and I definitely need some more ammo here. Cause spoiler guys, it's not over till it's over, which is what I'm kind of more nervous about right here, to be honest. But I pointed that out in the original Metroid 2 playthrough. And do I need the freaking thing to do that? Well, I do for like an additional super missile. But believe it or not, super missiles not gonna be that kind of helpful coming up. I don't think so. I'm not gonna worry about that. Which is kind of weird though. They hint right there. Well, first they give you like a missile recharge station. For what? Like all the regular enemies I'm coming across? You kidding me? But also a super missile expansion. It's like, wait, I just beat Queen Metroid. Like, what are you going on about, man? What are you talking about? But I really like how they take that moment in the series, and I feel like it was done justice here in Samus Returns. No more dialogue was needed. You know, they didn't add any dialogue. There was no cutscenes or anything like that. Kind of really kept the spirit of the original. And there's another save point. There's so many freaking save points around here. I already grabbed one right there, so I'm not really gonna worry about it. It's not really gonna matter anyway. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even really need to get that last save point, but. Just the moment was done justice is what I'm trying to say. And one thing I really do like is, you know, we're in like the end of the game right here. But the enemies that we're facing, now that we're back on the surface, are, you know, the original one-hit killed enemies. You know, they're the ones that are really super weak. Not a whole lot to do with them right there. So I love, again, the cohesiveness of SR388. As if I needed a missile recharge station, guys. Well, that wasn't a missile one, it was a health recharge one. Oh, and that's the last teleport station over there of the game as well, I believe. So, alright, here we go. The surface of SR388. Been a while since we've seen this. Although it looks a bit stormier than I remember. I forget, if you, like, space jump up to the surface, like, do you take damage like in the original? I wonder if that's actually the case. But here we go. Now, this is something I was not expecting when I first played this game. I hope I can do this, too. I'm kind of nervous about this. And suddenly Ridley! Yeah, he's in this game and he's the actual final boss right here. Usurped it from the Queen Metroid. Not quite sure how I feel about that, to be honest. I didn't really like it, you know, kind of the first time I saw it here. But, I mean, the fight is going to be really challenging, though, whereas the Queen Metroid was very much a static opponent. Ridley is not a static opponent. He's moving around constantly. Missiles are not going to be very incredibly helpful because he doesn't stay in one place enough to do it. And I have not really practiced this a terrible amount, so, okay, I really need to jump when that happens. So because because he moves around a whole lot, missiles don't really help much. And, oh god, he does so much damage, and I'm definitely gonna die right here. I did practice this, but not a ton like I did the Queen Metroid necessarily, so... Yeah, it's just, there's not enough... When you run out of real estate right here, there's not a whole lot more you can do. So the other Ridley fights, again, this is kind of an example of, like, kind of really complicating the Ridley fights, I feel like. But I need to kind of focus right here. Give me a ton of Aeon, but the Aeon's not really what I needed, it's more health. As this is a multi-phase boss fight, after all, and, I don't think I'm gonna have the health to get through it, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, so how do I feel about Ridley kind of showing up here? Well, I guess it was the first example of the 2D games kind of acknowledging the Prime series, I suppose, because, timeline-wise, this happens after Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, so maybe they're explaining how he is fully organic by the time Super comes around. But if you saw how Ridley died at the end of Prime 3, like, he kind of just exploded into a cloud of Phazon, so not quite sure how this connection's being made, or something like that. But, okay, so now he's going to have the ones at the very bottom. I'm going to go ahead and get the lightning armor out. I'm not quite sure, like, how effective that's going to actually be. But now he's going to be grounded. He can go between a grounded form and a flying form, each with their own attack, so we have to watch out here. And him backing you into a corner is absolutely not what you want to happen right here. And also, for a game that like did really good with the music, I feel like this is kind of an underwhelming version of Ridley's theme. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm being like a stick in the mud about that. But because I was kind of confused with the boss, and the boss was kind of difficult for me and took like a lot of tries. So maybe I'm just salty. Okay, so now he's gonna go back to the flying form right here. Oh, now the tail attack, but he actually charges with that one now. Okay, let's hope I can get a bit more mileage out of the electric armor. God, that's so freaking hard to dodge. Okay, so he does that, and it causes the ground to come up. Charges. God, I've got to get, like, down with that's a charge attack. Keep going. But this is only phase 2, so it's not looking too good right here. So my failure at this game is capped off. Didn't get the best ending, and definitely gonna die to the final boss right here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the final stage, though. Maybe I'll be able to conserve my health a little bit better if I'm not yapping through the first 2 phases. Oh! Yeah, it's definitely easier when he's on the ground, though. And I love how he slowly turns red, you know? It's kind of it's the traditional Ridley, alright? Right off the presses from Super. Really like that, too. I mean, it is an evolved, like, fast fingers Ridley fight, for sure. It is kind of an improvement over the just point at him in one direction and let go every super and regular missile that you have. Okay, come on, dude. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. I don't know, maybe there's a way to, like, better use super missiles in this fight, but I definitely don't know. It's especially with the controller that I'm using right here. It's just not very viable. Okay, I'm gonna take a hit right there. Alright. One more hit is gonna be it for us. Oh, hey, I got to phase 3. I can hang that on my cap. And these cutscenes are great. I mean, super physical Ridley fights. Again, kind of reminiscent of what we saw in Other M. For sure. Really like, you know, it makes it seem more like a knockdown drag-out. And this is great, though. I mean, really, I don't know. I don't see why it had to be Ridley of all things. But seeing the baby Metroid really kind of get involved in the fight, because now he's fighting alongside us, really kind of builds the sense of camaraderie between the baby Metroid and Samus that is so freaking important going forward. Now, we do get a bit of health right there, like 2 energy tanks, which Ridley can't do in one hit, so I'm not too optimistic about this, but hey, it ain't over till it's over. I'm gonna try my very best. But it's annoying now since when he's on the ground, you can see, yeah, we kind of have to angle upward in order to get like a full plasma beam hit on him. What is this? That's new. Oh boy, not looking good. Come on. Okay, that's a good way to dodge it. Okay, that's a charge. Get up, get up, get up. Woo! Not quite sure what like actually causes you to take a hit with it. Oh, that's another one. Oh, was that a counter? I guess it was a counter. Oh, that's nice. Yep. So my little experiment there working with the missiles didn't really cut it, but he's getting pretty red right now, so... I was wondering, like, yeah, if you actually, like, get a counter, is that the one time in this fight where missiles will actually prove to be useful? And the answer is no, it's not, so... Alright, so he's getting to be a somewhat dark shade of gray right here. Completely out of lightning armor now, so we're just purely on energy. That's why the lightning armor is so freaking useful is this fight, pretty much. I mean, I had the Diggernaut fight and the Queen fight down to where I guess it wasn't all that important right here, but I think we got him right here. And I say that a whole lot, especially when I'm under duress and the fight's kind of hard. You need really quick fingers to do it, but hey, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to get through this. And that is a dark red now. Come on, go to sleep, Ridley. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. You originally weren't in this game, which I thought kind of made it really unique, actually, but hey, you're in it now. Not a whole lot we can do about that. Yeah, it was definitely a whole lot easier to do when I wasn't yapping and I could actually see the pattern a little bit more. But such is the Let's Player curse. Oh, this again, huh? Okay, maybe I just have to do, like, actual damage with the beam. Okay. Not waste my time with the freaking missiles anymore. There we go. So I guess I might have just artificially added to the boss time by doing that, but... Hey, what are you gonna do? And is that it for Ridley? No, of course not. We see him in Super just a little bit after this. I'm not really sure on the time frame between Metroid 2 and Super, actually. But there we go, that's the game. And the planet doesn't blow up, wow. It's kind of the exception to the rule now, isn't it? And there we go, the end of Metroid, Samus Returns. A fantastic remake of Metroid 2, Return of Samus. You know, the context that this game was released in, I feel like is also just as important as the quality of the game itself. Because when this game was released in 2017, I would say the Metroid series was probably at its lowest point. The last real game we had was in 2010, of course being Metroid Other M, which a lot of people didn't like, you know, understandably. I'm not the biggest hater of the game, I enjoyed quite a bit about it, but that'd been the only true Metroid experience that we had in this series for a long time. I mean, before that, the game we had was Metroid Prime 3 Corruption in 2007. So by the time 2017 rolls around, we also had Metroid Prime Federation Force in 2015. That's a kind of a big part of this that I have to mention. But after Other M, we didn't get an actual game. We got a weird spin-off that nobody liked and didn't sell at all, so, you know, that was a whole disaster. That's a whole thing. But when 2017 rolls around, and for a lot of people, the last actual Metroid game had not been until 2010, and the actual good Metroid game for a lot of people had not been since 2007, we're talking about a decade-long wait for some people for an actual quality Metroid title. So whether or not that should have been a remake of Metroid 2, you know, that's debatable, I suppose, but at the end of the day, I think it's great that Samus Returns ended up being a really freaking good game. Like I said, I wouldn't put it up there in the upper echelon of what I like about Metroid necessarily. It was still kind of tied to the inherent restrictions that the original Metroid 2 had, kind of the area-based system in SR388, the lack of boss diversity because the Metroids are so heavily featured. Things like that do ultimately kind of tie the game down. It's not really the game's fault. It's just kind of the foundation which it was built in. And there were some other minor things too, you know, the Gammas being able to run. The weird boss difficulty might be a thing too, between Ridley and the Diggernaut for some people. I don't know, maybe I'm alone in that. But with those limitations in mind, I think Samus Returns did a great job of not only remaking the original Metroid 2, and, you know, kind of replacing it canon-wise, of course, and kind of adding to some of the core moments that make Metroid 2 so important. Namely, seeing all the Metroid life cycles, which will be important for Fusion, the relationship with the baby, which is going to be important for every single Metroid game in the timeline after this, Dread included, by the way. So not only does it repackage that and present it in a more modern and contemporary way, that I think actually makes it quite compelling and makes it quite good, I think the game itself is really fun to play as well. Like I said, we do have those limitations, of course, but they added a lot of cool things as well, I feel like. The melee counter, while kind of clumsy in this game, and you definitely needed it to beat Ridley, which is kind of... not sure how I feel about that necessarily, the counter being absolutely needed. And it was a little stiff in some parts, you have to be standing still, and things like that. The game does kind of over-rely on it for some of the tougher regular enemies to not make them such as a nuisance, but I mean, it was a good concept, and it's a concept that will greatly be expounded on in the future with Dread, so just seeing all these elements that, you know, were good in this game, and I felt like were fun, and I enjoyed using them, on top of a foundation that I already kind of functionally enjoyed in the original, seeing all that, and how this is going to blossom and build into like the next big 2D Metroid game, which is brand new, by the way, just came out last year. In 2021. Seeing that is just, number one, kind of made me appreciate Dread inherently more, and number two, made me think, man, Mercury Steam, you had some good ideas for a remake right here. I know they wanted to remake Fusion, and maybe that's still on the board. Before having to do Metroid 2, they did a great job. I really enjoy this game. And I love it. Starting with the original pose from the Metroid 2 box art. Ah, cat. Oh, 355! I did it! I didn't think I was gonna do it. I don't know how that worked, but there we go. Look at that. Oh, by the skin of my teeth. 4 minutes, we got it. Looking good, Samus. I have to say, though, Samus Returns, and we never actually see, like, the Zero Suit, like, in an actual cutscene, but I'll just put the concept art up here. Probably my favorite Zero Suit Samus design in the entire series. I think it's a great mix between athleticism, like an athletic build, and kind of a muscular build. I like this design a whole lot. I think it's fantastic, and I wish they would use it some more. Didn't expect to see that from Samus Returns, but for a game that also had, like, my favorite Various suit, or maybe my favorite Various suit, and my favorite Gravity suit design, maybe I shouldn't be so surprised it has my favorite Zero Suit design as well. But there we go, man. Did not think I was going to make that. That is a pleasant surprise right there. But of course, we have the epilogue. Because they wanted to add one more little piece of foreshadowing. With its natural predator finally gone, the only natural predator finally gone, a certain species is able to thrive on SR388 at long last. Nice little tease for the next game chronologically in the series, but that is going to be it for Metroid Samus Returns, everyone. Oh boy, this was a lot of fun to play. I haven't played it in a long time, like I said. One of the fewer or lesser Metroid games that I play as far as the amount of times that I actually play it, probably because it's on the 3DS. But going back to it and actually zooming through it in under 4 hours, which I didn't think would happen, was actually really good. And it's a great way to kick off the year of Metroid for my channel, because this isn't going to be the only Metroid game I play. I'm going to go down a whole list. And next up, it's actually probably something you don't expect. It's not what you would expect coming off the Mercury Steam Samus Returns, but it's going to be something a little different, shall we say. But until that day comes, which will be sooner than you think, this is Virgo, signing off.